This is a very impromptu stream. Okay. I was not planning on doing this stream. I'm actually just out and about, kind of running some errands, enjoying my half decaf, half regular coffee this morning, and the idea for the stream just kind of popped in my head. And sometimes when something says do something, I do it. Sometimes I don't, but sometimes I do. And this was one of those situations where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to turn the camera on. We may not even stream for that long, but something just said turn the camera on and talk, you know, about this subject. So we're going to talk about it. Whoever tunes in, cool, you know. And I kind of got this idea of talking about how the world is changing and how like we need to like realize this, adapt, pivot, change with it. Because someone commented on the video I did about rent the other day, you know, the alternatives to paying rent. Someone commented and they were like, Airbnb, storage units, couch surfing. Like, are you serious? Are you kidding? And actually they said, are you kidding? And I just wrote back, no. But I realized, you know, I try to take people's comments and kind of see what's behind it. And I realized I'm like, oh, this person may not, you know, there's a lot of people who a lot of people get it because a lot of people are feeling, you know, a lot of the economic things going on in the world right now, and they get it. A lot of people are looking for alternatives to paying rent. There are a lot of people who are getting priced out of, you know, their house or their apartment, you know. There's also a lot of people who are like, yeah, I don't mind, you know, going to move back in with my parents so I can have money. You know what I mean? You know, a lot of people's like, hey, I could afford an apartment, but then I'm broke. So there's a lot of people who understand what's going on in the world, and for them, they get it. But then I realize there's a lot of people who may not. You know, if you're not in a situation where you're feeling some of the changes in the world right now, you might not, it might seem ludicrous to you, some of the things I suggested. But that just got me thinking that, like, you know, the world is changing. And how's everybody doing? Like, the world is changing. And I think sometimes we still get left. Like, it's not 1995 no more, okay? But I think as a whole, we still kind of have like these, you know, 1995 views on how the world should be. And maybe let me turn some air on. I'm preaching, it's getting hot. And maybe the world should be. Maybe the world was better off back then. But I think we have a lot of world views about like how things should be and what we should do and decisions we make about our life based on a time period that's gone. And let me just say first, folks, I'm always going to be optimistic. I am always optimistic. You know, just because things are bad doesn't mean they can't get better. That's one of my new mottos. Things might be bad, but they can get better. You know what I mean? So like, I'm definitely optimistic about the future. But I just think that like a lot of times we don't see what's really going on in the world, or we blind ourselves to it. It's funny, in a day and age where we never had more access to information, a lot of us still make decisions based on like old data. The world's changing, you know? And once again, not to preach doom and gloom, but I think we all can agree, you know, things like the weather is totally different than it used to be. Why is my air not coming on? You know, the weather's totally different than it used to be. Totally, you know, different scenario. And I know the economy goes in different cycles, but I mean, I feel like we're seeing different things being a part of our economy in our economic system that never were before. These are going to have different consequences. You know what I mean? Work is different now than it was back then. You know, the nature of work has changed. You know, there's so many things that are different now. And I think we have to like realize this and act accordingly for our future. You know, if we keep making decisions based on the good old days, them days ain't here no more. There might be some good new days coming, or we might be in the good new days, but like, you know, we got to open up and like really see what's going on in the world. And then based on that, make decisions about how we live our life. Once again, don't get scared, get prepared, you know? But also going along with that, I think, you know, it should also drive us to really be like, hey, if there's things I've been planning on doing in this life, now might be the time to do them. You know what I'm saying? I think, why is my air conditioning not coming on? I turn on AC. Hold on. I turn on AC. I really think that, like, yeah, some of the things we might have been putting off for whatever reason, if we look around and realize how the world is changing, understand that, like, we may not be able to do some of these things in the manner in which we planned on doing them 5-10 years from now. You know what I mean? Look how the pandemic changed things. Now, a lot of it's going back, but, like, you remember how things were one way one day, and then, like, you wake up a month later, a lot of stuff was off the table. What do you mean I can't go out to dinner? What? It was just, you know what I mean? And I feel like we're going through, maybe, a lot of it is the technology and just so many different things. Like, we've never been through a time period where things change so profoundly. Like, I think about my dad, when my dad was born, they didn't even have color television. You know what I mean? Like, I think, the United States was a totally different country, totally different place when my dad was born. And I look at how much the world has changed in the span of his lifetime. And I'm like, my kid, if I was to have kids, would say that about, me. You know what I mean? People who are in their 40s, their kids are going to say that about them. When we get in it's already like that, but imagine when we get in our 70s, our 80s. Like, man, when my dad was born, this so, you know what I mean? Like, the world is changing. And we don't know what's going to change, or we don't fully understand what's going to come or what's going to go. And I just think, like, if there's things we want to do, we need to really start thinking about doing them. You know what I mean? Because we don't know if they're even going to be on the table 5-10 years from now. And I think it's also important to kind of, like, pay attention. I'm not saying watch the news and mindlessly eat what they're feeding you, but, like, research. I'm big on research. Do your research, figure out, like, what's really going on, and then make decisions based on that. Like, it's not 1992 no more. A lot of these old ideas of, like, how you be successful and how to make it, and are antiquated. So antiquated. I see people giving, not saying my advice is perfect, but I'm just like, I see people giving young people advice that, like, will do nothing for them in 2023, or will only do something for. Are we still here? Okay. My screen went weird for a little bit. They always try to set the stream down when I'm talking too much truth. You see that? Yeah, it's just like, come on. Are we still here? I saw the numbers drop. We might have disappeared. Are we still here? Talking too much truth. Oh, we back? Okay. All right. Yeah. Man, I was rolling too. I was about to get into my bag right then. Y'all saw that. Whenever I was wondering if they was going to let me stream. We're going to keep talking. But yeah, like, the world's changing. You know what I mean? Like, it is changing. And I think we're going to go through some profound changes. Things that we don't even, y'all still here. I appreciate that. Things that we don't even know are going to change, or are in the process, or might change. And I think we just need to be abreast of, like, some of the changes, and also accept them. You know what I mean? Yeah, we would have loved to it stay the 80s. You know what I mean? But it's not. It's not. Stuff that seemed ludicrous 10 years ago, now it's reality. And if we're just hanging on to that old stuff, it's not going to get us nowhere. Every time there's been, like, changes in history, there's people who held on. Eventually, they had to, like, understand. I said I would never get a CD. I'm cassette tapes till I die. I said this in 94. I said, I'm cassettes till they take me up out of here. I'm never getting CDs. Fast forward, that's old news. You know what I mean? Like, I just think, so many things, just like work and our ideals on housing, and so many things are so, like, built for a different time period. It ain't like that no more. It's changing, and it's definitely not going to be like that in the future. Can't just get stuck in, like, these old ways and just think you're going to make it stay. That you can't. I would love for a lot of stuff to stay the same. I'd love to go back to 2019. Can't, can't do it. We got to understand that people are out here looking for alternative work. Work is changing. People want work-life balance. People want flexibility. People want freedom. Housing is changing. People can't afford it. It'd be great if we all could afford our own house. Yes, there'd be nothing wrong with that. If we all could afford our own house, we would. Those of us who want a house. You can't. Lisa said, we will own nothing and be happy. People post that a lot on my videos. Here's my thing, sidebar. That sounds like heaven to me. If I own nothing and I'm happy, I'm fine with that. But I'm a minimalist. So like my goal is to own very little and be happy. You know what I mean? And the stuff I own just because I gotta have it. You know what I mean? So like that don't sound like a problem to me. When they're like, you'll own nothing and be happy, that's fine with me. Like I don't really care. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna play your little possessions game. So like that's fine with me. You know? Yeah, yeah, they said the connection's weak. Yeah, it's I wondered if it would be, but we're gonna keep talking. I'm gonna see how bad it looks. Hold on. This was a very impromptu stream. So let's see how we're doing. See what we got going on. See how bad it's looking. I don't want to watch the ad. That's crazy. An ad popped up for AI. Oh, it's not that bad. We talking. An ad popped up for AI. That's funny. Stuff shouldn't be your key to happiness. Exactly. Sorry if there's some lags to it. You know, can't do nothing about that. You know, and I think that's what I think more and more people are going to start realizing that. I think that's going to be one of the changes. And this is what I'm always saying. Like, I'm always saying that like the universe always balances out, right? And so on the back end of a lot of like consumerism and materialism comes greed. You know, oh, we can get these people to buy anything. Well, we're just going to start selling them all kinds of crap. On the back end of that is that like you have economic situations where like people ain't got no money. If you spend all your money buying, you know, stuff and getting into debt, everybody's going to be broke. And what ends up happening then is you get a massive movement towards like minimalism and simple living, going off grid, that type of stuff. It ends up balancing itself out. And so I think after so many decades of just extreme materialism, what I think is going to happen, and I think we're starting to see, is more and more people are just going to start saying that like, bro, what is this stuff getting me? I got all this stuff, but I'm broke. I'm in thousands of dollars of debt. I'm not happy. What did it do for me? The stuff ain't working. And more people are just going to be like, bro, I don't need this. Cars are $70,000, $80,000 now. New truck, $100,000. People are going to be like, I don't need it that bad. I'll just keep driving the old Chevy. You know what I mean? People just, you know, I can't afford my own house. I'll just get 3 roommates, you know? So I think people are going to kind of be forced, but also maybe forced into doing it, but definitely forced into thinking about a lot of concepts that, you know, in the 80s was just crazy. You know, all this money out here, I'm not doing that. But I think people are just going to be like, bro, I can't. And like, when you wake up and see that's the world we're living in, when you wake up and realize, oh, that's the world we're living in, that's the future we're headed for, like you can navigate that, you know? Excuse me. But I think a lot of people don't want to accept it. You know, a lot of people don't. I know in America, we don't want to accept a lot of stuff that's starting to happen. You know, America has always been the world power. A lot of us Americans don't want to accept that, like, we might still be the world power, but our power is waning a little bit. World's changing. Okay. People don't like to see this. You know, but you think Great Britain liked losing the colonies? You know, it happens. Things change. You know, and it's good for the people who like get it, because then you can start moving in like different directions. So many people live lifestyles that aren't making them happy because they feel like that's what you do. That's what you have to do. You don't. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules. You can do whatever you want. There are absolutely no rules. You just got to not break the law so you don't go to jail. They don't throw you in Rikers. You know what I mean? But, you know, the world changes. You change with it. Or if you want, you can be stubborn and stay in the old ways. But, like, I just don't. I just see people who just think it's different out here now, bro. Like it's not. Like I mean, it's not 95 no more. This is 2023. It's 2023. Imagine what the world's gonna look like in 2030. He said, "Cream. The C represents credit." Credit rules everything. Oh, I'm using that. I'm stealing that. Wait a second. Who said it? Ryan. I'm stealing that. Credit rules. I'm stealing that, bro. I gotta write that down. Oh, I'm stealing that. Somebody has already probably said that, but I'm gonna say it again. Wait, where's my pen at? Hold on. I know I got a pen in here. I stole it from the bank. I didn't steal it. They said I can have it. Hold on. I gotta write that down. That's funny. Oh man, this is what I do. People give me good ideas. I steal it. Credit rules everything around me. Cream. Facts. Yeah, rest in peace to the legend ODB. That ain't an ODB song, is it? Except consequences. And I feel like times like these are good because it frees us up to be bolder. You know what I mean? It frees us up to take more risk. Why? Because it's probably all going to fall down anyway. In stable times, you know what I mean? In like stable times, you're nervous because everything going good, everything's stable. You trying to just keep it going the way it's going. In tumultuous times, take the risk. What you got to lose? It's all falling down anyway. It's all changing anyway. You know what I mean? The people who don't take risks, they probably gonna end up in the same boat as you. You know what I mean? What do we got to lose these days? And like I said, I'm not being doom and gloom. I'm still optimistic. I'm still optimistic. I'm still very optimistic. Things might get bad, but they can always get better. Nothing anyone can tell me could ever dissuade me from the fact that things can always get better. But I'm just like, hey, if you look around and things look weird, now's the time to do the things you want to do. All that conventional wisdom. Not saying don't listen to older people, don't listen to their wisdom, but if any of the wisdom is based on time period, we live in different times. And the change is accelerating these days. I've been talking about AI a lot because it's going to change our lives. It's already starting to change our lives, but give it 10 years, it's going to drastically change our life. Not saying that's bad, but for instance, if you work a job that AI can take over tomorrow, you might want to start looking into a different field. Stuff like that. Jobs that 10 years ago, people were like, that's a great job. You need to get into that. If you look at it now and you realize, oh, AI could do that way better than me, you might want to be looking at a different job because it's coming. The blockchain's coming. The blockchain's already here, but it's going to come on strong. All these things that people laugh at and they're like, oh, you said blockchain and crypto and NFTs were going to be big. Look what happened. They're going to come back. The same thing happened with the internet. Remember when the internet first came out and everybody had a website selling stuff online and then they all crashed and then the internet came back and now it's here to stay? The same is going to happen with the blockchain, things like that. Just remember, I said this when it happens. It's 2023. The jobs that was great jobs 20 years ago, different now. How you doing, Paige? Love you too. I just want us to be, if not ahead of the curve, right there with the curve. Right there with the curve. I just want us to be people who are like, hey, living our life, being happy. Because that's at the end of the day, what it all boils down to is how can I be happy? How can I be happy? And, I think paying attention to what's going on around you helps with your happiness. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? You ain't got to, get all worried and scared. But by the way, while we're on the subject, I've been meaning to talk about this. When I talk about worry, a lot of times people say, yeah, don't worry too much, but worry has its place. No. Worry, if you look up the definition, because I did just to make sure I was right here. Worry has a negative connotation. Worrying is thinking obsessively or over obsessing about something. You never have to worry. Worry is not good. Now, thinking about something, maybe being a little concerned about it, that's okay. You know? But worrying is never good. Now, we've come to the point in society now where anytime we think about something or are slightly concerned, we use the word worry. But in its real context, worrying is negative and worrying is bad. There's a difference between like, oh, I'm a little concerned about that. Let me pay attention to that, and worrying about it. You never have to worry. Worrying is bad. Worrying is bad. We don't need to be out here worrying. Now, that's easier said than done. But like, I mean, all of us worry. Like I'm Mr. Don't Worry. I still worry sometimes, but I catch myself and I try to diminish my worry. You don't have to worry. It's okay to be like, yeah, I hope so-and-so works out. I hope so-and-so gets healthy. I hope blah, blah, blah. But like, you don't have to sit there and worry about it, obsess about it. Hey, Kiera, Bria, what up, what up, what up? Good to see y'all. Where y'all checking in from? From the ATL. ATL in the building, what up? Good to see y'all. You know, you don't have to worry. I just want to put that out there. I'm sure I'll do a longer post about that one day. But we don't have to be like worried. But, you know, you can see the world for what it is. Yeah, sideline. Things happen. Things happen. Navigate best you can. And I think one of the best ways to navigate is to like be up on what is happening. I think we like most people fall into two camps. They get super worried about the future, or they like stay stuck in the past. India in the building. What's up, Munkar? You know, I think people get super worried about the future, or they stay stuck in the past, right? And I feel like it's being in the present and like understanding best you can what's going on currently in the world without watching the news. Do your own research and understanding what's going on currently and trying to extrapolate how to like use that in the future. But you don't have to worry about the future. And you don't have to stay with your head stuck in the sand in the past. Neither one of those help the present. But like I say, these times are good because they free us up to take more risk. They free us up to do some of the things we want to do. Because you're like, what's the worst that's going to happen? That might be happen anyway. Hey, Pops, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Thank you. I mentioned you earlier, Pops. I don't know if you was in here yet. I was just talking about how the world changed so much. I think about how the world's changed so much in your lifetime. And I mean, I think that changes is going to keep happening. Like from now on, I think every lifetime people are going to be like, man, you know how much the world changed in so-and-so's lifetime? Yeah, Bria, worrying's unhealthy. This obsessing, you know, just get as prepared as you can. Totally agree. Get as prepared as you can. Go for, and it's freeing to just be like, all right, I did my research. This is the move I'm gonna make. Whatever happens, happens. You know, this, okay, I looked at it, blah, blah, blah. All right, this is the move I'm gonna make. Whatever happens after that happens. You know what I mean? I think it's free, because then every time the thought pops in your head, like, oh, I already made a decision on that. You know? Hey, Gavin, good to see you. Let me read this comment because this seems important. So just dropping in and letting you know how your videos and perspective have helped me. 1 year ago, I was near homeless, closed-minded towards my life and what to do. Work a 9 to 5 till I retired. Then I tried a seasonal job, traveled and worked for 6 months, saved up a lot of money, moved again to a fantastic city, then went abroad for a few months, just came back home to the UK. Nice. That's awesome, Gavin. That is awesome. And I'm humbled that my videos, my content can help with that. That is amazing. Out here living life, you know, out here living, figuring out options and doing them. You know what I mean? Like, that's the move. That's awesome, Gavin. That's awesome. Oh, the comment kept going. Okay, all right. He's still getting it. Let's go. Oh, I love this. Never thought my life could be this open or free. Thank you very much. You are welcome. Yes, go talk. GB. I'm getting super excited. Y'all can't see, but my hands are going like that. That's what it's about, man. That's awesome, Gavin. That is awesome, man. Like, when that freedom, that openness, that lightness. I don't even really know how to describe it, but you know what I'm talking about. is the feeling that I just want everybody to feel, man, of just like, you know what I mean? Like I'm living and I'm enjoying it. And I'm not stressed all the time. And like I'm doing things I like when you do something in something you never thought you would do, that's amazing too, bro. Like when you do something you never thought you would do, it's just like, bro, like what? Like that is the feeling I want everyone to at least once, but I would love for multiple times. You know, that feeling of like, what did I just do? Yeah, then that's when like gratitude really kicks into. I think that's when you start ramping up the gratitude, almost subconsciously sometimes, because you like, I never thought I'd be doing this. Like, I gotta be grateful. You know what I mean? That's awesome, Kevin. Pop said, when I grew up, I used to watch steam locomotives on the other side of the street. Today, many have never seen one. What is a steam locomotive? Like the old school, like coal? Well, like the steam. Wow. 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 I didn't even know that. They still had them back then. Damn. Yeah, that's people don't even know what trains are. A lot of people never see trains other than like the subway. You know what I mean? So like that's crazy. That is crazy. That I don't know. That's what I do. Like the old school train. True. Okay. Hey, who this? I appreciate that. You know, don't share the same views, but the overall view resonates. Nice. You know, and that's all. You know, I love when people come through and say, hey, some of the stuff you talk about seem a little crazy, but like, I get it, you know, and I appreciate that, because we live in a day and age where it seems like so many people are so quick to be like, it doesn't have to be us versus them. It doesn't have to be my belief versus your belief. It can be like, we're having a discussion, you know, and we can listen to other people's discussions and comment, you know, like, so I appreciate you coming through and sticking around and commenting and not just like, yeah, this guy's crazy. I've had a couple people recently be like, yeah, sometimes I think your views are unrealistic or not like the real world, but I appreciate, you know what I mean? And I liked it. And I always like to mention this too, and this is something I had to learn. You know, because when you start just making content, and I'm still learning every day, but when you start making content, you just do whatever. And then like over time, maybe you get an audience and people start watching and you really start to try to figure out what you're doing, right? And Alan Watts said something one time that really resonated with me. When the whole world, or a large portion of the world, sees things one way, in order for me, if my message is counter to that, in order for me to get people to even listen to it sometimes, I have to be all the way on the other side. Okay? So like if this is reality and my message is over, like I have to make my message unrealistic at times, so it triggers people to like listen. You know what I mean? If everybody's over here and I play in the middle, nobody's listening. What triggers people, what gets people to listen, is when I'm way over here. So if there are some times where people are like, oh, he's way out there now, like that, I believe it. Like anything I say, I believe. But like there are times when I'm like, yeah, Tim, you might want to, and I'm like, nah, I'm giving it to him all the way over here, because that's what makes people like, let's, you know, like, oh snap, that's crazy talk. But then you think about it. And even though some of it might be too crazy for your reality, you might meet me in the middle. You know what I mean? You might meet the community in the middle. You might be like, man, I ain't trying to live in my car. That's crazy. But you might be like, yeah, like rent is too high. He's got a point. They got a point over here about rent being too high. Well, blah, blah, you know what I mean? So like some of the stuff that people are like, that's totally unrealistic. I get it. I lose people sometimes, but you have to lose some people to get even more people. Moving on. Oh, Smith, I love this. I decided to stop using the bad things that happened to me to be my scapegoat. I handled it, thrived, and coped. It's done and finished. Nice. Once again, one of the mindset things. You know, what is mindset? Is like once I started to realize in life, like, oh, it's not the things that are happening, it's kind of how I deal with them. That's the game. You know, it's not what happens, it's what reacts. And then on the other side of that, I realized, oh, and I have a lot more power to control what happens. So whereas before I thought it was like, I'm just powerless, all this stuff happens, and it is what it is. Now I'm like, oh, it's not what happens, it's how I react to it. And I can influence what happens to me more than I used to think. So now it becomes a game of that small segment of stuff that happens to me that I have no control over. I just have to like deal with it like Smith, and move on. Not always easy to do, but the alternative, wallowing in it and using it as a crutch, that doesn't help, So yeah, love that. Stephanie, gonna start slow living, enjoying every moment. Nice, every little moment. I like that. Nice. Overseas camera, yeah. I'm getting. Yeah, I'm not even gray no more. I'm getting white. Like my hair up here is getting gray too. Y'all know how distinguished I'm gonna look when I'm all gray, all white. I'm gonna my Yo Gotti, all white, everything. Okay. Fact, Cheryl. We need to have these uncomfortable conversations with each other. We need to. I'll give you a good example. I talk about her a lot. We're good friends. When me and my friend Travel Snacks were in Myrtle Beach, we had a lot of conversations about religion because that's something that we have differing views on. But there were some really good conversations that actually helped me, think about and talk about some things like I hadn't touched on in a long time in my life, because I will admit I might have been a little too like whatever, but someone who's like opinion I value, and I think is a very intelligent woman, she's very religious. So hearing her talk about some of her religious beliefs and why she believes certain things opened up some things for me. Not that I'm converted, but I'm like, you know what? I hadn't thought about that in some years. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I think we need to expand on our current belief, even if we keep the same belief. I think to expand upon it sometimes, or to like realize, yeah, I definitely still believe that. We need to hear from people who believe differently. And it doesn't mean they're coming at you. It doesn't mean you're wrong, they're wrong. There's no rules. At the end of the day, right or wrong is subjective. Who can say? So like, yeah, I think it's good to have these conversations because then like, it helps you, Hey, Zap Gamers, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the community. Nice. Yeah, we positive over here. We happy over here. I'm just reading the comments, ladies and gentlemen, real quick. Facts. I like that. There's many ways to live a good life. Fear suggests there's only one. Yeah, fear kind of says like this is going to happen. There's a billion things that can happen. What up, Eric? I'm just reading some of these comments. Hold on. Yeah, I'm with you, Amy. Discussions, not debate. Yeah, just wrong. Yeah, solidify belief. Like it's almost like I think a lot of people are scared to like discuss because they don't really know what they believe. Someone told them to believe it, so they believe it. And so they don't really want to get into discussion with you because they're not really, the foundation ain't that solid. So they don't want no wind to come blowing. They done built on the beach. They ain't built on the rock mass. But like when you know what you believe and you can back it up, you don't mind having a discussion, and not a discussion to try to push your thoughts on someone else, but to just be like, hey, this is what I believe. It's cool to want to talk about your belief, and sometimes you might find someone will say something. You're like, ooh, wait a second. I might have been a little off. Hey, Sylvia, thank you, Super Chat Squad. That is love. Thank you. Sylvia said, thank you, Dr. Two Suitcase Timmy. Yes. Two Suitcase Timmy in the building. Thank you so much, Sylvia. I appreciate the love. Thank you. We here. The Super Chat Squad. Robert, how you doing? Faith over fear. Let's go. FOF. Let's go, Tony. Eric, I have not used ChatGPT to make a video. I have used it, but I've never used it to make a video. You're going to start seeing a lot of AI generated video on the internet, and I feel like it's going to congest the internet even more. On the backside of that, though, I think brand is going to become even more important. Excuse me. Authenticity and brand is going to become even more important, because we're just going to get saturated with AI generated video, and there's going to be no substance to it. And so I think people are going to turn more towards, oh, I know that person, I know that brand, I know it's real, it's just not the computer coming up with it. You know, and there will be a lot of content creators who lose some authenticity because they're going to go the AI route and just crank out. It'll be them, but they're going to be reading a script that ChatGPT wrote for them. Okay. The day's going to come where you can say, write me a script for a video about minimalism and write it in Timothy Ward's voice. And it will crank out a script for me to read that will sound eerily. It'll just take a mishmash, pidge-podge, a mix of all my past videos on minimalism and come up with the script. But it won't be me. You know what I mean? But the day will come when, you know, there will be companies that will try to sell content creators videos of like their stuff. Hey, we already made this package for you. Here's the script. Here's the B-roll. You just need to say this, you know, send us the footage. We'll plug in the B-roll. We got the music. Boom. So it's going to get interesting, but I like being real. I like being authentic. Would I use ChatGPT for like writing or ideas? Yeah. But like, as far as my videos, like I want it to be me, you know? Happy Sunday. Yeah. What is CBDC? I don't know what that means. Tony, I say I have a nomadic soul. So there was a time when I felt like I had to be traveling all the time to have my nomad card. I have a nomadic soul. So that means I'm going to travel pretty regular. So yeah, I consider myself a nomad. You know, even though I've had this apartment and I've been living in, you know, in Denver, I still been traveling, you know. So I consider myself a nomad. There was a time I used to be like, oh, I'm not a nomad anymore. Nah, I'm always going to be a nomad. There may be times when, you know, I stay at a place for a while, but I'm always doing some type of travel. So yeah, I consider myself a nomad. Yeah. Oh, central bank digital currency. Oh, I mean, those are coming. Those are coming. Like, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind those are coming. Might it still be in conjunction with fiat currency for many years to come? Probably. But trust me, like if I was a central bank, I would want to go digital. You know, if I'm a central bank, that solidifies my power if we go digital. Because like now I can cut anybody off whenever I want to. A couple of lines of code. Whereas with cash, like I can freeze you out the bank, but if you got cash, what can I do? So if I'm a central bank, I want to go digital. So they're going to go digital. Oh, totally. But I think cash will still be around for a little bit. I mean, what would stop them from doing it? You everybody is pretty much digital anyway. I have a ton of friends under 30. None of them ever have any cash. You know what I mean? None of them ever have any cash. So it would not be that big a deal for the average person if they were like, hey, we're phasing cash out and we're just have the digital dollar instead of, paper dollars. The average person would not care. So, it's just one of those things that, like, that's one of those that, like, there are certain changes. Yeah, I wish it wasn't going to happen, but I don't see why they wouldn't. I love cash. You know what I mean? It keeps me from blowing money. And I think, there will be different economies that adopt the digital currencies later. But I think an economy like America will be at the forefront, one of the first ones. Very few people will resist when they go totally digital. So, nobody under 30 will care. I'm generalizing, but you know what I mean? If you've grown up with debit cards and purchasing stuff online, like, when I was growing up, like, you had to go to the store. You know what I mean? So, like, I knew about cash. You know what I mean? Knew about cash. Like, it's like, even when some young people say cash is king, it's different from, like, when someone to me says cash is king, I think of holding physical cash in my hands. When a young person says cash is king, they mean having cash in their bank account. You know what I mean? They don't even think like, oh, physical cash. Ugh, There's people who think cash has germs. They don't even want to touch it. So, they're going to phase that out. But, it's just, once again, something to think about. So, like, you might be prepared to be like, okay, let me start getting some real world assets that in the future I can stash and maybe in the future barter or trade or whatever with. So, like, I got a little money in case things go weird. I've always been a big, believer in precious metals. We might start seeing an upsurge as more people realize, that's a form of currency that, like, is accepted worldwide, that, is physical. It's just a matter of, paying attention to what's going on, making moves. And I think it's important, too, to remember that just because the people on the news say something's a good idea, do your own research, figure out for yourself whether it's a good idea. I'm just putting that out there, too. Just because they say, oh, this is the best thing, great, let's do it, that usually means it's not. But, do your own research, figure it out for yourself. Like, it's the world's changing. I'm here to tell you, it's not 98 no more. I remember 1998. The clothes were a lot baggier. Okay. Remember 98. Remember 88. Wait, I remember 88. Different time. But the dope man always. Hey, it's when the dope man goes digital. Oh man, he is a different world. When you go out to the dope man, and he like, nah, I need you to scan. When the dope man got an LLC and a scan, he like, dang, times have changed. People gonna be saying that. They go, man, I remember back in the day when you could buy drugs and there was no paper trail. You got to launder your money for the dope man. You got to put it through all kind of different VPN, all kind of crazy stuff. The dope man gonna be digital. He ain't gonna take cash. AK, what up? Yeah, you going up to the dope man with cash. You can be like, what is this? Bruh. Like, you trying to get me caught up? You trying to just... Oh man, it's a different world, I'm telling you. I want to revisit this video 5 years from now. I'm gonna make sure I keep this one up. So I'm gonna timestamp it in the title. Keep this one up. It makes you joking, but wait. You know, there gonna be people flying a sign. Hey, can you help a brother out? Anything will help. And it's gonna have their Cash App at the bottom. It's gonna have their Venmo. You gonna hand them cash? They gonna be like, what? Hey, here's $1, man. Grab you something to eat. You can be like, bro, Bitcoin. Like, oh, XRP. They'll look at you like you crazy. I had a thought. This is a side note. When me and a friend of mine were thinking about doing a podcast, and I was like, to promote it, we should go stand on the side of the road and have some signs, and both of them have like our Cash App on it, and just be like, hey, we're doing a challenge to see who can make the most money. And then have like the podcast name, the website or whatever, the social media at the bottom. And we both just stand there all day with our Cash App on a sign and see how much money we made. I thought it would take a lot to do. You know, I would almost have to go to a city where didn't nobody know me, which is most places. But like, just stand on the side of the road with your Cash App and just see how much money you make. But hey, we're doing a challenge to see who can make the most money. Like, she would have won because it was a female, so she would have won. But like, you know, I'm curious to like how much money you can make. And then have another silly sign that says like honk if you love kittens or something stupid, just to make it fun. Because you want engagement. You want people to honk and yell and whatever. But like, I always thought that was cool. See how much money you make. That might become a full-time job. You just fly to different cities, stand on major intersections with 2 Cash App signs. Hey, we're doing a challenge. Somebody's gonna take this and do that now, and they're gonna get rich. Somebody's gonna be like, how I make $100,000 a year with Tim's Cash App challenge. Hobo Hustling 101, let's go. Love that. I might write that down too. Hobo Hustling. I like that. That's a good title. I'm getting good ideas today. I'm stealing good ideas today. Where did I put that other one? Where did I put the one about cream? That's the problem. I got too many pages. Is Hobo Hustling already a thing? I like it though. Yeah, as long as the Cash App name is short and sweet, you know what I mean? And funny. Yeah, overseas. Content creation has changed the game because anybody who can afford a camera can like start creating content and make money. If you're good enough, you can make money, you know, and come up out of hole, you know? So like, yeah, you know. Do kids still do lemonade stands? I seen one the other day, and I almost turned around. I said, this is weird. I don't trust. What do these kids really do? I thought it was like a covert op. I said, this is a setup. Them ain't really kids. Those are like really. This is like a 21 Jump Street type thing. Those are undercover agents. That's DEA. Kids ain't out here selling lemonade. Who would buy it? I guarantee most people who pulled up just gave them the money and was like, I don't want the lemonade. Ain't nobody trying to buy lemonade off the side of the road, a hot lemonade. Nah, that was a setup. That was a sting. Somebody went down. Those weren't kids. No, ain't no kids selling lemonade. These kids don't even know what lemonade is. These kids don't drink juice. Nah, that was a setup. I got up there and quickly. I got out of there quick. I said, I'm not doing this. I don't know what's going on here with these kids selling lemonade, but I don't want no parts of it. Hot lemonade. If it wasn't, I ain't trying to drink that. They just went to the friggin' Dollar Tree and bought a bunch of cheap lemonade, selling it for $1 a cup. I mean, I ain't mad at I never knocked the hustle. They just need to have ice and, OSHA, approval. Oh, man. I'm not doing it. Yeah, I really do think that, and, this is what I do, so I'm a big fan of it. But, the ideal that there's a possibility by you just turning on your phone and documenting your day that you could down the line do that for a living is crazy to me. This is one of the places where the world has changed. This is one of the places where the world has changed. And this is definitely one that I think people, I watch a lot of Gary V's content, Gary Vaynerchuk, and like, he's constantly harping on this. And he's absolutely right. Like, I still don't think that we have understood the power, even though we're all on the internet every day. And I understand some people have no desire to be on the internet. I still think there's a large portion of people who don't understand how powerful the internet is. I just think some people still don't get it. The fact that you can literally just turn your phone on, that you already have, you already pay, no overhead, and periodically throughout your day, just make little short TikToks or YouTube shorts about what you're doing. That could eventually lead you to making an extra $5, $10, $20, whatever, $1,000 a year. You know what I mean? Hey, Bria, thank you. That is love. Thank you so much, Bria. So what would you do if your good friend's word starts to not match their actions? Oh, that's a hard one. Thank you, Bria. Super Chat Squad. Thank you. That is a hard one. When you start to see the chinks in the armor, I feel like then it comes down to can I figure out what changed? What happened? You know what I mean? Sometimes maybe someone new came in their life who's rubbing off on them and making them start to be a little more dishonest or like not, you know what I mean? Making them change. In a situation like that, it's like, okay, is this something that might change back? Is this something I can help them combat? Or does it seem like they're just heading down this different path in life? Because if it's something that's like, oh yeah, she got this new boyfriend, now she's starting to act a little weird. You know what I mean? Maybe that switches up one day. But if it's just like, I don't know, this person just started to like change, then sometimes I think we have to, realizing it and then asking ourselves, how comfortable am I continuing to associate with that type of person when this is who they're manifesting as now? And if it's not a big deal, if it's just like, okay, I know, Keisha, she be tripping sometimes. And if you can keep it like that and like, it's not going to rub off, it's not going to affect you, you just know. But then sometimes there'll be scenarios where it's like, yeah, I don't know if that person who they used to be, I think if it feels like, I use this is and I actually had to do this recently, sadly. So I get this 100%. I asked myself, if when I had met that person, if they were acting like this, would we have been friends? It's like, if I didn't know this person and I spent a day with them acting like this, would we have still become friends? And in this instance, it was like, no, I would not have associated with this person. And it was like, you know what? I need to back off. And it hurt. It was sad. But I was like, you know what? I have to back away from this person because this is not someone who I would associate with on a regular basis if I had met them like this. Now, not back off totally, because it's like you want to see if there's something you can do to maybe help them kind of change back if you can. But like, I can't allow anyone to bring me down by associating with them. Just like if I start acting crazy, I'd expect people to stop rocking with me because they can't allow me to bring them down. So like, I think if it's, small and it's not too crazy and you think you can still kind of, stay as good friends, but if it ever gets to where it's just like, oh, this person's just changed, like they out here just lying to me and talking about me behind their back and all this, like, then sometimes we do have to make them hard choices of like, maybe I got to pull back some. And then there's always the option of confronting them. If you feel comfortable being like, yo, Keisha, what up? Like, this what we doing now? We out here, like, you lying to me? there's that option, you know. But yeah, I think we have to. It all comes down to helping that person if we can, and protecting ourselves, I think. Yeah. And but appreciate the love. Thank you. Yeah, because I've had friends in the past that I knew from when we became friends that they was a little shaky. And so we were friends, but at a distance. Like I knew like, oh, this person's cool to hang out with. You know, we go out, blah, 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 blah. This is not my day one confine my secrets in, because everybody told me they was talking about me behind my back, but we hung out and had fun. So there are some scenarios where you can be like, yeah, but I just knew. But yeah, it is hard when it's somebody who is one of them people and they start to act a little funny. It's like, man, like, bro, like what, with me? You getting funny with me? Like I'm, it's weird. So hopefully that answered your question. And appreciate the love. Thank you. Do what you love. That's what it's about, Lost. I'm still out there doing the busking gang, traveling new cities, eating good food. Facts. Doing what you love is always the answer. It is always the answer. I thought about this morning, and I think this would I might do a short about this too, because a lot of times we're like, what should I do in life? Like, what should I do? I don't like my job, but I don't know what else I want to do. I was like, imagine if the whole world got together and was like, hey, we're gonna cut out this income inequality like it is now. I know some of y'all gonna say that's communism. Just roll with me here. So they were like, hey, everybody, no matter what job you do, is gonna make enough money to make it, right? Everybody's gonna make $100,000. Nobody's gonna make more than $500,000. Just roll with me. Everybody's gonna make $100,000 at least and be able to take care of their bills. Anybody who works a 40-hour work week is gonna be able to take care of their bills, and no one's gonna make over $500,000. And we're also gonna let everybody pick the job they want. If you lived in a world where you knew no matter what job you worked, you were gonna make it, gonna be able to pay your bills, and they allowed you to pick whatever it was you want to do, what would you pick? What would you pick? If you could pick any job in the world, do anything in the world, any occupation, and you knew you would make enough money to pay your bills and live comfortable, what would you pick? Because I think so many times in life, we don't let ourselves make decisions about what we do with our life because money. And I get it. But a lot of times we'll want to do something, but we're like, oh, there's no money in that. So we won't even entertain trying it or starting it. But if it was like, you're gonna be taken care of. How do you want to spend your life? Yeah, you got to work, make the money, but how? And I think that if whatever pops in your head, because for me it was content creation. I was like, oh, what I'm doing now, content creation, I love it. But yeah, you might say poker, e-commerce, I don't know, swimming. You know what I mean? Like we all got stuff that if you could do it and make a living, that's totally what you would do. Baking, like we all got stuff. And I'm like, I'm not saying that's what you need to go out and be doing right now, but I'm just saying that gives you an ideal of what you might want to work to eventually. Something you might do in your spare time. You know what I mean? And could one day lead to you doing that for a living. But I think a lot of times singing, acting, exactly. I think a lot of times we don't even entertain it because people talk us out of it, or we're like, oh, there's no money in that. But going back to the internet, you could film yourself baking cookies and make more money than a baker these days. You could film yourself making the world's worst cookies, and you could end up making more money than the best baker in the world. If you're comfortable on camera and you got a good sense of humor and a clean kitchen. Actually, a dirty kitchen would probably be better. You know what I mean? The times have changed. It ain't about what you do anymore. With content creation the way it is now, you don't have to, like, you could do whatever you want, just film it, bro. Like, or you could do what you love and just figure out a way to, maybe teach people, hey, I'm gonna teach people how to play poker, like, but I think it's just Rowan says writing, crocheting, cooking, traveling, singing, going for walks. Okay, that'd be nice if you could get paid to go for walks. What do you do? I'm a professional tour guide around the park. Every day I come to the park and I walk and take people on tours of the park. Same park every day. Yep. Same tour. Yep. People show up. Yep. It's crazy. Hey, Pop said airplane pilot. I know that. Said, but how are we doing? I do now. Driving for a tour service is a nice second. Yes. Great job. Great boss. Great pay. Let's go. That's awesome. That is awesome. Mark said traveling as a singer, musician, artist, performer, still a valid income source. True. Then put it online, reach a larger audience. Or start online, and then when you build up a fan base, go in the real world. You know what I mean? What's up, Penny? Hey, Siegel, made it another year. Yes. I like to do something with music. A lot of people saying music. That's interesting. I just think it's nothing says we can't start on the path. And the path is part of the journey. The path the journey is the destination is just part of the journey. It's all about the journey. And it's amazing the amount of joy you get dabbling in whatever you really would like to do in whatever capacity you could do it. It's like, oh, I wanted to be in the NFL. I can't, but like now I coach, little league football. It's football. I'm teaching the kids. They pay me, or do they pay for little league football? Who knows? I don't know. I mean, is that even a thing? I don't know. You know what I mean? But I just think we have to like believe that we can do the things we want to love in some aspect. And there's nothing wrong with going, starting the ball rolling. But the big thing I think is saying out in the open, this is what I love to do. This is what I love to do. And then going after it, That's a good point, Stefan. Fear is like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's true. If you focus on the bad, it's more likely, like, because you're focused on, like, your subconscious don't know good or bad, because good or bad don't exist. So you keep focusing on stuff. It's like, okay, let's keep focusing on it. Ooh, April would have a farm animal sanctuary. Nice. Hey, Valisa, I appreciate you having my back. We had to block Chaldean. Blocked with love. Chaldean blocked with love. Blocked with love. But and there are people who, in their opinion, my channel is about giving up. And I understand that. Because there are some people who follow the system and work for them. So to them, giving up on the system is like giving up on life. But as most of us here understand, the system and life, two different things. But I understand it. Or there's people who are still wrapped up in the mythos, and they think that if they just work a little harder, they gonna make it. But I think we all can, for the most part, agree it's not working hard is what you work hard at. But I understand that people think I'm telling people to be slacker. All I'm saying is I would put up good American money that those of us in this community are happier than people in a lot of these, like, just work harder, just hustle harder, hustle culture communities. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'd put up my last bit of Shiba coin on that. That's what I'm saying. You know, if it was all about work as hard as you can, make as much money as you can, then the wealthiest countries in the world would be the happiest. But if you pull up the list of the wealthiest countries in the world and you pull up the list of the happiest countries in the world, the two don't coincide. I know this because I just did it yesterday, or maybe it was the day before. I just did it within the last 2 days. If you pull up happiest countries in the world 2023 and wealthiest countries in the world 2023, it's not the same countries at the top. Incidentally, full disclosure, America did make the top 10 on both, I think. No, I think on happiness we were 15th, and on wealth we were 8th. Which I thought we would have been lower on happiness and higher on wealth. Now, you do have to factor in when it comes to wealth. They were, there's countries like Luxembourg where nobody lives, but they have a lot of money that rank high. But anyway, the list didn't correlate. Wealthiest countries weren't the happiest. You got to think about this stuff. When people are like, oh, just get more money. I'm trying to be happy over here. For me, it's about happiness. If that happiness comes with a check, I'll take it. I'll take both. Oh, you gonna hand me a bucket of happiness and a bucket of cash? I'll take both. Let's go. But I'm not just gonna blindly chase money because I think it's gonna make me happy when I see some alternatives for happiness. That's all I'm saying. Hey, Rody Foo, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Always good to see you. Super Chat Squad, that is love. Said, if it's solely based on hard work, then all janitors will be millionaires. Facts. Keep up the good work, brother. Let me know if you ever need live guests. Hashtag positivity. Hey. I honestly was thinking about that recently. And one of these days, I want to bring, I got a growing list of guests I want to have on the channel. If I'm saying this now, when we go back to live guests one day, let's talk. Definitely. I still follow you on Instagram. So we'll talk. Yeah. Thank you so much for the love. Hashtag positivity. I appreciate that. And that is so true. Like, the hardest working people, like manual labor is the least paid people. Not about working hard. If it was all about working hard, all these people working mandatory overtime, you know what I mean? Like, it's not. We see this every single day. We see this every single, we see the opposite. Everybody wants to jump on influencers because they're like, oh, they don't work. Which influencing, you do work as an influencer, but you can get to a place as an influencer where you're not working that much. If Squarespace is giving you a $20,000 endorsement deal, sponsorship deal for 5 videos, you're not working that hard no more. You know how hard people have to work for $20,000? Some people work all year. And it's not unheard of for influencers to get a $10,000, $20,000 deal, 5-10 videos. It ain't about the hard work. It's what you work hard at. And I don't know why people want to disagree with this. Now, the best thing is when you find a great opportunity, and if you want to, you go in there and just grind the absolute crap out of it and just milk it for everything. Cool. Best of both worlds. But if you try to just relax and chill out, enjoy life, finding the right opportunity that means you don't have to kill yourself is amazing. I don't know why that's something people want to argue about. No, it's not. The system's not rigged. I don't know what system you talking about. So thank you, Rody. I appreciate that. Appreciate the love. Thank you. Everything. I have a few dollars in crypto. That's it. I'm not in the market. Cody, yeah, it's about having the ability to control your schedule, working smart. Exactly. David said, it sucks how YouTubers can act like fools and make big bucks, but essential workers make poverty wages. My response to that would be every essential worker, for the most part, has a cell phone. And YouTube is free. So, you know what I mean? The internet is the great equalizer, especially in this country. So nobody can be like, oh, these influencers out here. You can do the same thing. For now, you can get on TikTok for free. You can get on, like, there's, you know what I mean? It wasn't like Mr. Beast had $1 million and he's, no. So like, I'm just saying, I understand people working for poverty wages and is not right. I understand that. But I'm just saying there has never been a time where there wasn't more opportunity to come up out of that. That's all I'm saying. And I'm definitely not going to like talk crap about people who made moves to like that any of us could make. If there's a move any of us can make and it might turn out to be financially profitable for us, I'm not going to be mad at the people who made the move. That'd be like saying, oh, it sucks that people go down there to the food bank and get free food and other people are starving. Well, they could have went down to the food bank too. So that's all I'm saying on that is like, yeah, I understand there's variables, but like, let's not jump on YouTubers and TikTokers and IG models because they're making money when the platform is free and everybody got a phone, they could do it or try it. Like, what are we doing? I just don't have this. I just don't understand why we always demonize. A lot of times we demonize successful people. It's not that like I don't like people being successful. I want everybody to be living their ideal success. So when I see people that to me are successful, I'm happy. Why would I hate on YouTubers? Why would I hate on influencers? Get your coins. Why would I hate on athletes? Hate on actors? Get your coins. I just want more of us to get our coins. I just want more of us to be happy. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. I understand it's a different mindset. Hey, Melissa, thank you. Super Chat Squad. That is love. Thank you so much. And we got the marching lemons. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that love. Thank you. Hey, go to that beach. Go to that beach, Nick. Do you? Appreciate you asking people to hit the like button, Bria. Thank you. Gary, what up? Good to see you. Cody said, they still ain't enough for everybody. People are more likely to click on doom and gloom content, but in the long run, I think real content pays off, in my opinion. Because the monetary payout is not the only payout. Money is not the only ROI. You know, money is not the only return on investment in life. And so a lot of times we'll just look at the money and be like, oh, people over there are doing better, but someone who may not be making as much money might be getting way more happiness, joy, and fulfillment. And they're great. They're good. They're up. You know what I mean? I always say the love I get from y'all and from doing this, oh, I'll take the money. But the love outweighs that in the grand scheme of things. And I mean that. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Michael, it depends. I will admit that you said, do I consider YouTube a job or a hobby? It started out as a hobby, and the times when I'm not working and like YouTube is all I do, sometimes I start to think about it as a job, and I try to stay away from that. I mean, you kind of have to. I like it when YouTube feels like a hobby, but sometimes it will feel like a job when it's paying your bills. So it's that, you know, but I try to never think of it like a lot of people like your YouTube channel's a business. I don't really want to think about it that way. Because then it starts to get different, especially a channel like mine. Like say if I had like a finance channel, screw it, it's a business. But when you have like a motivational channel and it's really about people, community, us helping each other, thinking about it as a business is kind of like counterintuitive. You know what I mean? Like it just ain't it ain't the same game. So, you know, it's a passion project. And blessed that it's been able to help me pay my bills. That's how I try to look at it. Hey, Gary, glad you liked the live stream with Ava. Yeah, Ava's super cool, man. Ava's super cool. Ava's one of those rare people that, like, I should say rare, but like as soon as I saw her video, I was like, I want to have her on the channel. Y'all know me. I don't have many people on the channel. So Ava is super cool. Like, I need to reach out to her. I always say I'm a message her and I always forget. Rana, exactly. You know what I mean? If someone finds a legal way to get their coins up, how can I hate? You know what I mean? Like, and it's something that's helping people. I'm just gonna harp on this a little bit because I always hear people talking about influencers and stuff. It's helping people. People enjoy the content. That's why they make money. So they can put anything they want on TV and we're fine with it. The streaming platforms can put anything on there. We'll watch it. But an influencer, you know, brings joy to people's life by showing her day, and we have a problem with it. People do reaction videos, which we all watch, and people have a problem with it. Like, I just don't understand. I understand the hate, but I don't understand the hate. I do think, Penny, that having a charismatic attitude helps. It does. Yeah, it does. It does. But it's like any business. You know, there's certain people who make a ton of money at sales just because of the personality. I came in here, I was not going to buy a car, but this girl's personality is so awesome, I'm getting in that Ford Fiesta. You know what I mean? Like, we all have like gifts and talents, and I think we just have to find the arena where, like, if we're talking about making money, we have to find the arena where our gifts and talents work the best. And sometimes, like, it's something we actually actively have to think about. That's why I say, like, when we just go along with everybody, oh, this is a great job, you should do that. You might not be, like, you might be able to, like, go to school and learn how to do it. You might still suck at it. You know, I think we need to take a self-inventory. What am I good at? What am I passionate about? What do I like to do? What is a career, a profession, a job, a company that I could start that, like, who I am and what I do best will work? Yeah, lawyers might make good money, but, like, if you suck at lawyering, you're going to lose cases. Like, man, he can't make a closing argument to save his life. He's boring. You know what I mean? Like, I think we just got to factor this in. But I think part of that comes down to we're not taught, take a self-inventory, learn about yourself. You're smart enough, powerful enough to take what you were born with and who you are and make it in this world. We are taught from the very beginning, you're not smart enough, you don't know nothing, go to our school, conform, this is how you make it. We will tell you how to make it because you can't figure it out on your own, which does not work for most people. Bro, I wish we just told the kids, you're amazing, you're awesome, you're you. Nobody else on this whole planet is you. Figure out what you want to do, what you are good at, do that. That works. There might be some failure along the way, yes, but, like, that works. That leads to joy. You ever seen somebody, like, totally mess up, start laughing? You ever see people fail and be like, man, you ever heard someone talking about one of their failures? And maybe at the moment it wasn't, you know, but later they're like, bro, I screwed that, bro. It's funny in the future because it was them doing them. Oh, I really thought I had it with that one. Nope. You know, you ever failed and laughed? I think that happens when, like, you're living life, you're doing you. Failure ain't so scary. You're learning the whole time. It's a learning experience. Oh, that didn't work. Let me try something new because this is not working. This is going badly. But, like, bro, it's a matter of taking your skills and your talents, which we all have. Nobody's born skillless and talentless. You can take your negatives and make them positive. You can take the things that people picked on you about. Macy Gray, they picked on her about her voice her whole life. She turned it into a singing career. What are we doing? I feel like I'm preaching today. I'm up in the pulpit today. MT said I would learn more about growing vegetables and flowers, create a community for those who like to garden. I see a lot more communities popping up in the future, and I'm super stoked about that. I see a lot more people getting together, buying some land, buying a couple of houses together, some land, and doing group stuff. A, because it'll be cheaper, and B, on the backside of us never being lonelier in modern times. I think we're in the middle of a loneliness epidemic right now. I think on the backside of that, people are going to be like, screw this. I got to find my tribe. I'll live with them if I got to. I just can't do this in an apartment by myself. Go to work, sit in a cubicle, come home, sit in my apartment. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And like I said, this is something I've been feeling lately. It was like, you know what? I want to go to a seasonal job this summer because I got to be around some people. As much as I love sitting in my room, I'm like, this is getting a little crazy. Like, I'm losing it a little bit. I need to be around some people. I need human interaction, and I think as a whole, in the coming decades, that's going to be something we're like, screw, like this is dumb. Like, I think we're going to be more community. So that's awesome. The website I wrote for, Hub Pages, HUBPAGES, Hub, and then Pages. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, if you're too shy to do video, there's audio. I mean, podcasts are killing it right now. There's the written word. Shorts were like, you don't like, and you always been able to do videos where you didn't show yourself, but like shorts are killing the game right now. And you can just show different stuff about your day and voice it over, I'm gonna jump down here. Thank you, John. Super Chat Squad. Thank you. That is love. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate that. 100. Thank you. I want to jump back up to these comments. My family is very supportive, Michael. There's a part of my family I don't really talk to on a regular basis, but like, my dad, we talk pretty regular, super supportive. I've always said that I feel very blessed that my parents were really kind of like, when it came to like lifestyle and, work and college and all that, we're pretty much like, do what you do. Like, I feel like me and my dad are very similar in that aspect. Because if I had kids, I'd be like the same way. Like, I don't really, bro, like, what are you doing? When you moving out, I don't care what you do, go. Now, my parents were like that. But a couple different times they let me move back home. So I appreciate that. But like, yeah, I never grew up when it came to like work and college and all that type of stuff with any type of pressure as to like, there was never any pressure to like being successful. There was never any pressure of like, you got to go to school, get a degree, which I really appreciate. Especially since like, my parents went to college, my dad, very successful, you know what I mean? So like, and it never like, sometimes you don't appreciate good parenting until you're like older. And I'm like, wow, despite the fact that like this worked for my parents very well, and it allowed them to provide me an amazing childhood, they never pressured me to go that route. And I didn't realize that. Like, if you're not being pressured to do something, you don't really realize that a lot of people are until like you talk to somebody who is. Oh, my parents said I have, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like, my parents never came at me like that. Like, they, to this day, you know what I mean? So that's a blessing, because I hear from a lot of people that that's one of the hardest things, that like, when parents want you to go one way and you want to go another, it's hard. It's hard, So I feel blessed in that. Travels with Doodah. What up? What up? What up? Sorry if I missed some of your comments before. I'm tapped in now. What are we reading? Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, claim everything on your taxes, folks. Jesse, what's up? Angela, hey, how's it going? Miss Deidre, what up? Love that, Bill. So we have what we need. It's all internal. We need nothing. Reject materialism like that. Pay your taxes. Once you wrap your head around like you got to pay them, just pay them. It's not that bad, you know. You know, blessed to have the money to pay them. What up, JP? Miss Deidre, love that. Love that. Not pressuring your children, just encouraging them. You know, encourage them. Help them find. Help them to make good decisions, but let them kind of decide the decisions they want to make. You know, I was watching this morning. I was watching this crazy video. Gary V did like a Gary Vaynerchuk. He did a signing and a meet and greet at his wine library store, his father's wine library store in New Jersey, and it was like 4.5 hours, and he filmed the whole thing. And the camera just ran. There were certain things they cut out if someone, you know, said something that they didn't want on camera, but he'd filmed the whole thing of him just meeting all these people. All these people just kept coming up. And, you know, one girl had said her question, because a lot of people had little questions. He had a couple minutes with each person. One girl had a question. Her question was like, you know, and she was from an immigrant family. And she was like, how do I, you know, deal with like, I want to do this over here, but having the pressure of like staying, working the family business, you know, all that. And he was like, by focusing on the fact that if you follow your parents' advice and it's not what you want to do, you will grow up to resent them. And he was like, you have to realize you love your parents enough so much that you can't follow their advice. And I thought that was crazy. I was like, wow. He was like, your love for them has to be so great that you're willing to put up with them not getting what you're doing now so that you won't grow to hate them later when you're 40 years old and you're doing something you don't want to do and you don't want to be in this business and you look back with all this regret and all these things you didn't do. Who do you think you're going to blame? The people who were like, do this. So he was like, in the short term, it'll suck, but in the long run, it'll allow you to have a better relationship with your family doing what you want to do. And like, that's why, you know, I never had kids, so I can't tell parents what to do. But I feel like, yeah, when you just let kids do what they want to do, it benefits you too. And I get it comes from love. A lot of times when parents pressure kids, sometimes it comes from love. But it's like, them kids, we all know people who don't really rock with their parents no more because of stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I just think, bro, and I'm sure it's hard as a parent, but like, it's harder than I could ever imagine, I'm sure. But like, bro, like you don't want the kids following your advice and then like growing up to like hate you. Hey, Investor Trip, thank you, Super Chat Squad. That is love. Thank you so much. It's a great channel. Thank you. PS buy Bitcoin. Hey, Bitcoin's been on my radar. Bitcoin has been on my radar here lately. I tapped back in. I was like, let me check on. I hadn't checked on crypto in months, so I actually checked back in the other day. So I got you. Thank you. What up, Brian? I have not seen Dion yet, Gregory. No, I think he's out in Boulder. Selwood, you know me, I'm gonna do something in housekeeping. You know, that's me. I'm gonna do something in housekeeping. You know, probably a little management supervisor position in housekeeping. Y'all know. Hey, Bill, appreciate that. I appreciate your ideas on alternative living, alternative society. Yeah, man. But yeah, while we're in this one, pay the tax, man. Pay your taxes. Like it's easier. What up, Praveen? Yeah, we a little impromptu today. F Doctor, I that's a question that I get asked a lot, and I do a lot of thinking on. It's, do we have a purpose? It implies that, like, it's written somewhere, you know. This is Timothy Ward, and his purpose is to do this. That somebody somewhere has already come up with a set purpose. I don't know if I believe that. I do think that because of my DNA and who I am, there are certain things in life that, like, if I do, I will achieve the most in this life. I do believe, like, there's certain paths that, like, if I take, I will get the most fulfillment in life, and it might help my fellow man the most. You know, I think this kind of trying to motivate thing is part of that. I won't say it's my purpose, but, like, I think that, like, it's something that me doing it, it will give me some of the greatest rewards in this life. So if that's purpose, okay, but, like, I think we all have passions. And I think if we follow those passions, life works out best. But I don't know if I have a preset purpose. Because what would be the point of that? Hey, Indian said, I know. Ask me, I know. Facts. Oh, well, with the frown. Hey, and I respect the fact that, like, if you went through, did things that other people told you to, that you're not passing that on, that you're like, you know what? You know, not don't pass it on to the kids. Is there one sole mission we have, or does it not really matter what we end up doing in life? I'm always saying, like, I think that there are things we can do that will make this life most enjoyable, bring us the most happiness. Do we get some kind of trophy for what we do here? Does one path end up better than the other? I don't know. You know, if I was a religious person, I would be like, yeah, you do right, you'll go to heaven or whatever. I'm not, so, you know, do I think there is a higher power who appreciates when I behave in a morally correct way? Yes. But, like, do I gain anything other than just, like, the good that comes from living a moral life? I don't know. You know, I don't know. How could we ever know? So, like, I just try to be a good person and do the things that bring me joy, help my fellow man, and that, you know, I know for me, when I'm living life and enjoying it, I rarely question the purpose of life. You don't question the purpose of life when you're living in the middle of enjoying it. You get it. Kids never question the purpose of life because they just live. So that's why I feel like it's one of those questions that we're either taught to ask, or we ask it when we're not enjoying life. But really happy people take very little time to question the purpose of life. They just keep doing what they're doing. You know, feels right, feels good. I'm gonna keep doing it. You know, so my thoughts on that. Oh, you know I love my chaps, Michael. You know I love my chaps. Yes, yes. I mean, John, one of the things about the human condition is we're always going to have some form of government. There has not been a society in human history that did not have a government, be it the chief, the tribal elders, whatever. There's always going to be some form of government. We can't figure it out on our own. We like someone being in charge other than us. We may not always like their decisions, but we're always going to have a government. You know, always. Look back at history. There's always been a governing body, always. If you took all the government away today, there would be new governments next month. A charismatic leader would stand up and be like, all right, that's gone. Let's start a new whatever. And that person would get elected the emperor. Human nature. That's what we do. You know. Ricky, I'm with you. I think a ton of people just want, real connection, less problem. That's a little personal, ain't it, Michael? Asking about my intimacy. Okay. Michael, I'm going to a seasonal job this summer, so we out here. Hey, Luke said, I'm planning on slow travel throughout Southeast Asia when I retire, going from one country to another for a few years. Thanks for inspiration. You are welcome. Sounds good. Go for it. Yes. Do it, man. It's a big world out there. Big world out there. Good to see you. Overseas, great question. And a lot of people ask me this, like, okay, you're not religious, but you believe in a higher power. Like, there can be a higher power. Like, religion implies organized. Religious implies I'm a part of an organized religion. We don't get this. You can believe in God and not feel like you have to be a part of an organization to like have a relationship with him or her. So I'm very spiritual. I believe there's a higher power because, just like, to my mind, something had to put us here. I choose the option of something put us here as opposed to it all just happened to be here. There's really only two camps. Either you believe we're just here and it just happened, or you believe something directed it. At the end of the day, we basically just pick a camp because who knows? So I'm in the camp of something put us here. There have been times when I prayed and I really feel like I was answered. It really feels like there's some type of presence there that I'm communing with. So that's why I believe in a higher power. Now, since we're lowly humans, all our ideals on what that higher power is are probably wrong. Once you realize that, like, if there's a God, it's so much higher than our thinking capacity, we couldn't begin to ever imagine what it really is like. It frees you up from, for me personally, it frees me up from like bickering with people about God, because I'm like, none of us know. It's like asking an ant. It's like ants arguing about what humans are. All they've ever seen is our feet. They don't, you know what I mean? Ants think humans are flat because all they've ever seen is feet coming down squishing them. They think human beings are flat. Soles of a shoe, that's a human being to an ant. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. You know what I mean? It's whatever. So you can be very spiritual and believe in a higher power and not be religious, because even though I believe in God and have a relationship with God, I don't think I have to join a religion, be part of a gang, an organization to have a relationship. I don't think I have to follow somebody else's set of rules to have a relationship with what created me. That's a very personal relationship. God created me, so I can talk to God. I don't need you. If I choose to go through you, cool. I'm not knocking religion. Some of the best people I know in this world, very religious. My mother, very religious. And I'm very proud of her faith and her religion and how long she's been at it. Very proud of that. Moved me to tears one time. And I was telling her that. So, Mom, like, it means the world to me that you stand so strong in your faith. Like, you ain't making my mama do nothing she ain't trying to do. Okay? When it comes to God. I respect that. But I also don't think you have to do that. But you can still believe in God. You talking too much truth. Best part of life is knowing someday you will be dead. I've heard people say that. Overseas, I don't know why humans always want to be ruled over. I think it's just in our DNA. Every time we revolt, we go right back to being ruled over. Perfect example, French Revolution. French Revolution. As soon as they got rid of the monarchy, they built up another government. Your boy Robespierre took charge. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as we get with one government, we bring another one. I think it's just human nature. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we got to have somebody in charge. You know? Hey, Lee, you gonna go to Alaska this summer? Go. Lady, how you doing? Michael, I just use my car for like traveling and overnight sleeping. I never lived in it. I mean, overseas, your comment kind of doesn't make sense. You said, is religion bad now? It seems everyone wants to say spiritual. I don't know. It seems the same. You have your thoughts, and that's your personal religion. Well, then what's wrong with saying spiritual? If you being spiritual is just your personal religion, then what's the problem? Like, I don't think it's the same, but if you feel it's the same, well, then why does it matter what word people say? If it's the same thing. To you, it's the same thing. Why does it matter what word they say? I think it's different. But, like, you know, why did it matter what word they say? Oh, your mom down at the crochet class per day? Hey, I like me some Bill. I like me some Ram Dass. Hey, Livestream King, we here. I'm probably gonna do a sobriety stream tonight too, by the way, because I said I was gonna do that. I've never said religion was bad. I literally just said some of the best people I know are religious people, and their religion plays a large part of who they are. I'm just saying you don't have to be a part of religion. Once again, we're very us versus them divided these days. It's hard sometimes for us to understand that I can say I don't believe I have to do something, but that doesn't mean I think it's wrong or bad. It's hard for us to do this these days because we're it's not our fault. We're being programmed to like one or the other. I can say I'm spiritual, and I don't think I have to be a part of religion to have a relationship with God. That does not mean religion is bad. I never said religion was bad. All throughout history, there's been religion. I'm just saying I think you can have a relationship with the divine without it. That's all I'm saying. Jesse, my family is too. So yeah, I get it. My family is too. And I respect that to no end, you know? Bear Claw making more money now. You homeless. Go. $12.50 last week. Let's go. Somebody tried to tell me yesterday you couldn't make no money doing gig jobs. Where we at? What's that, $5,000 a month? Let's go. Talk about it, Bear Claw. Lady out there soaking up that sun. Nice. No, Greyhound does not go to Alaska, Lee. You have to get on the plane. The kid, I couldn't tell you what goes on up to, you know, is there government up to, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, that's a very human concept. I think maybe it's not. I don't know. You know, I don't know. Cody says spiritual is vague because it doesn't condemn sins. That's what I like about it. That's what I love about it. That is one, and once again, I'm not saying religion is bad. One of the reasons it doesn't work for me is this idea of like there's sin, and if you do it, you're a horrible person. Or if you do it, then you need to come talk to this man or woman and they can help you get rid of the sin. Sin is one of the biggest control concepts they use to control people ever. If you don't want someone to do it, start a religion and say it's a sin. That's all I'm gonna say on that. The ideal that if you do things that you as a human naturally want to do, or you don't know any better, it's a horrible sin, you're gonna burn it. Stop, bro. Like, don't. Anyway, okay, moving on. I don't want to get too deep. Chantel, I'm with you. It's hard for people, if we've grown up in a world where people always equated religion and God, it's hard for some people to understand that you can have a relationship with God without being religious. Like, they can't. The concept, if every time someone has heard God, they heard religion, it's hard for, and I understand, I can empathize. It's hard for people to grasp the separation. It takes a certain level of understanding. And we're all on our journey, you know. There's levels of understanding I can't wait to get to, I'm not at yet, so I get it. But like, it takes a certain level of understanding to be able to pull the two apart and be like, God is God and religion is just one of the ways to commune. These are also typically the type of people who think there's only one right religion, but that's a different story. Damn, Retires 119. I literally forgot there was games on today. That's how hype I am right now. I forgot there was games on. Lady says, my spirituality condemns sins. Hey, respect. Respect. For me, it's like I have my moral code and I live by it. I can't expect you to live by my moral code. That's the way I look at it. So for me, there's things that like, I'm like, hey, I feel like if you do this, life would be better. But if you don't believe that, I can't say you're wrong. I don't think you should lie. I try to be a very honest person. But when I meet liars, I don't condemn them. This is just me. Because like, they might think lying works. That's my moral code. It's not there. If your moral code allows you to lie every other sentence, cool. We're not going to be friends. We're probably not going to kick it. I still love you because I love everybody. But like, I can't say you're wrong because you have a different moral code than me. I don't know. You're a completely different human being with totally different experiences from me. I don't know what you're going through. All kinds of things I think are wrong, I'm not going to do. But like, if you don't bring it around me, but like, I can't say you're like, what did I do? Who am I? I'm here for 80 years. I'm gone. Like, who am I to be condemning you? Like, you know, that's just the way I look at it. Don't bring it around me. I think it's wrong. I can't say you have to think it's wrong. I can't say you're a bad person because you don't think like me. Or you're a bad person because you don't think like my religion. But I have respect for people who do. I'm not saying I'm right and they're wrong again. Same game. I can't do it. But I understand if other people do. I just won't be a part of that organization. Everybody's right and everybody's wrong. There is no right or wrong. You know what I mean? I used to have a movie about Martin Luther, Barley. I had a movie. I don't know why I had it. I bought it. I had it on like VHS tape. It's a very good movie. It always struck me. I was like, hey, I know a lot about Martin Luther King and Martin Luther. Thought that was pretty cool. It's little things in life. A lot of people don't know who Martin Luther is. They don't. Am I going to make a short saying goodbye to my place before I leave Colorado? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, Jesse James. Yes, I get that. Uh, that's why my family doesn't talk to me, but I respect their faith. It took me a while to get there, but I'm finally at the place to where I'm like, if my family's religious beliefs tell them not to talk to me, I would rather them not talk to me than violate their belief. I'm grown, you know what I mean? And universe, God has given me other people in my life. They can never replace my family members, but like I'm loved. I'm blessed. So if your moral code and your belief says Tim did so and so I can't talk to him, I want you to stand on that. Don't worry about me. I'm blessed. You know, I'm good. Like I said, it took me a while to get here because in the beginning I was a little resentful and bitter, but I had to realize there's bigger things in life than me. You know, because if with my relationship with the divine, you dang sure ain't gonna push me off my pedestal. You know what I mean? So I gotta respect my family for doing that. And it's not like I didn't know it was gonna happen. Like I grew up knowing like if this happens, they're not gonna rock with you. I had to make my choices. I'm a big boy. I made them, they made theirs. It's all love. It's life. It's the game. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I give them props for that. I give them props for that they stand on what they believe in. A lot of people don't. A lot of people get wishy-washy. If you believe it, stand on it. Now, the law is a totally different entity. The law comes along and says, we in this area say this is wrong. And if you do it, we're going to put you in prison, kill you, whatever. The law is totally different than our individual moral code. Now, a lot of things will fall in both. Like, I think murder is wrong. I think theft is wrong. I think a lot of stuff that's illegal, I think is wrong. But then we've all seen things that like don't bother me. There's still places where like weed is illegal. That don't bother me. My moral code says you want to smoke weed, smoke weed. I don't care. But there's some places you'll go to jail for it still. So like the law and your moral code is different. We've seen times all throughout history where certain religions got outlawed. And people who were that religion went to jail. It still happens now. So that's, and their religious beliefs, their moral code violated the law and they had to make whatever decision. So like the two are separate. The law is the law. You do it, they're going to lock you up. I think your moral code is different. Because there's some things that are totally legal that I won't do. Because it's wrong for me. I could do it 24/7, 365, never go to jail. I won't do it. It's wrong for me. So they're different. And once again, if you want to condemn. I don't care. I don't. And it doesn't have to be a argument. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get people saying their opinions, but like, however you want to live your life, that's kind of my message. However you want to live your life, live it. Some people love the ideal of sin. I get it. Cool, rock with it. Once again, a lot of this stuff is what I like to call the philosopher's burden. So for me, an aspiring philosopher, and it may take me 90 years to get there. There are some things that I can't blindly just say, oh, I go along with that. I have to take it. I have to think about it until I get to the place that I feel comfortable, that I've thought about it enough. So like the average person, society says this and they go, okay, cool. I agree with that. I have to be like, wait a second. Do I agree with that? Why do I agree with that? Blah, 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 blah. So even a concept like sin, I just can't blindly be like, oh, that's a sin. I have to be like, what does that mean? It's philosopher's burden. Question everything. Oh, just roll it. Hey, glad you got that serving job and you know out there making that cash. Hey, and Jesse, I respect you respecting that. That's cool. That's cool. It's good to hear someone else, you know, because I talk with a lot of people who don't, and so like it's good to hear when someone's like, I get it too, you know. Okay. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the back and forth. Chantel's still going in. I'm just reading all the comments. Bear Claw thinks everybody should go to prison. Wow, that's hey, whoa, you know, glad we ain't friends. No, just every time you see you ain't been to prison yet, you need to go. Just mess with you, Bear Claw. Just mess with you. There's places where people can voluntarily go to jail. We ain't got room for that in America. We overcrowded with the involuntary. Hey, we ain't got no voluntary cells. I have heard this, and I talked about this before, but in Japan, I think it was, they're having trouble with the elderly people because they're like pensions and you know savings aren't enough, so they're sadly running out of money, and so the elderly people will go to the grocery store and blatantly steal. They'll just walk down the food aisle, pick up a basket full of food, walk out the door. And their logic is, if I don't get caught, I get to eat today. If I do get caught, they'll take me to jail and I'll get to eat today. So they're actually having to build like senior citizen prisons because all the older people are breaking the law so they can go to jail and eat. And to get like it's like a party. It's like a party. So they're enjoying going to jail and like meeting other seniors. Like it's really, I saw an article about it, and I look. There's other ones like they're like, we don't know. That's why they built whole prisons just for like senior citizens, because they're like, we don't know what to do with the problem, because if we don't arrest them, they'll just steal food all the time. And they're like, if we do arrest them, well, we're getting too many seniors in jail. So it's kind of a thing, and there's really no fix for it, because like when you have people who don't mind going to jail. The jail retirement plan. As I said, they're like you can't deter people from breaking the law who don't mind going to jail. So I was like, man, that's sad, bro. Like, and I always say, if you want to know what's going to happen in your country, look around the world. Okay, you know, everybody's saying Social Security might, and once again, this is not doom and gloom. But everybody's saying Social Security is going to go away. There's no real retirement anymore. Give it 20 years. That'd be the U.S. People just be walking in the Dollar Tree stealing all kinds of goodies, waiting for be sitting there, be sitting on the front steps of the Dollar Tree, munching down, waiting on a cop. This is just my snack. I'm eating dinner in jail. Hurry up and get here, officer. Get them cuffs on me. It's dinner. They're going to time it right. Oh, if I get arrested at 5, I'll get intake by 6. I can get dinner. You want to know what's going on? What's going to happen? Look at the rest of the world, man. I'm trying to tell people. Yeah, I do speak with my hands. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up. This was kind of just an impromptu stream. Didn't expect it to go 2 hours, but the stream got going so good. Here we are. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate the love, the support, the comments. The Super Chat Squad came through. I love that. Appreciate that. Thank you for that financial abundance. Definitely helps to keep the streams going. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I might be back later with a sobriety stream. I'm not sure because I did say I might do that. But yeah, stay blessed, stay grateful. I love each and every one of y'all. Enjoy yourself, live your life, do your research. Talk to y'all later.